Welcome to episode 71 of Indiana Matt Guerrilla Radio. I'm Joe Caprino. I have Mr. Mike Reiser. He's trying to keep tabs on the Bears game while also talking about wrestling. But we're here to talk some wrestling about the upcoming season. First matches start tomorrow. The battle.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, the battle for the paddle.
The battle for the paddle.
Yes. Down in.
No, what is that? I don't know what that is.
It's the. You didn't read Triple B's article? Madison versus Southwestern. It's the
I only read my part.
Yes, the battle for the paddle. I believe we're going to be going live on Twitter here, so I wonder if that's going to work. If it doesn't, I'm sure we will be getting some compliments on that. So, as I try to get our live comments going, it did not work last week. So, Mike, first week of the season, what are you looking forward to this week? I know there's a couple good tournaments, and then there's some actually pretty good duels.
Yeah, Regis Sports reached out and asked if I want to broadcast Friday night, Portage and Crown Point, which is always a really good duel. Last year, it was a pretty packed house. So we're gonna do that. I usually do that at the end of the year, like right around Christmas, and I think they did it on Saturday a couple times. We're doing it on Friday this year, so which I always think is really cool that they have like a singular day. And I always think when the DAC does it on Wednesdays, like a lot of I don't know what day your guys' conference wrestles, but those tend to be a lot cooler because there's not a lot of stuff going.
Yeah,
so
we don't have a conference actually. We got kicked out of our conference a couple years ago, so. Yeah, it's good to have it on a Friday. There's no boys basketball. Obviously, there's some girls basketballs been starting up. So, but it's nice to have it on a Friday. The biggest thing I always see with wrestling is no one knows what day the events are on, and it's like, oh, it could be a Tuesday, it could be Wednesday, heck, it might be Friday. And that's one thing football and basketball and stuff. There, every Friday, there's a football game. There, whatever your local team is, they're playing Friday night, so it's nice to be able to go on a Friday night, a little bit easier to access for fans. And the main thing I always see is just make it a consistent night during the week that you can, people know that every Wednesday night there's going to be a Crown Point duel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like a one-off, but they do like Wednesdays for the DIC, which is always really cool. I think it's tough. It's really tough to do these duels early on. And like rankings wise, you see a lot of people in different weights. 5 of the region teams won their regional, so that like Maryville wouldn't be at full strength right now. Valparaiso, I think Kwiatkowski wrestles or plays football, so he's there. Hobart had a huge win. I think it was like their first regional, so I know a lot of their guys are wrestling and playing football. So a lot of those guys are going to be on that kind of cathedral. We always say like cathedral's first big one's the Trikoff, because they're just starting to get guys back from football, and it's very similar, I think, for the region right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams. We had a pretty cool article come out this week. Hopefully we'll be able to get these done every week with Triple B's triples. We had other names that might not have been suitable, but talking about some of the best things coming up this week, and some things that happened last week, some things are going to be happening this week. There's a lot of good football teams still playing. Cathedral, Mater Dei, I think Warren Central lost, Roncalli lost. I know Carmel, Maryville, and Hobart were all won, and Mount Vernon, Fortville, and Adams Central. So all those teams are playing this week in Semi-State. The other ones lost, but they're still going to be affected by getting deep into the playoffs. So it's always hard to. I know Adams Central's supposed to send a JV team up to Carroll this week, and I was like, how many guys you guys think are coming? Like, we might have a handful if we're lucky.
And like obviously we're at a time where stuff's more specialized. There's a lot of specialized guys, but like we said, like I know for a fact there's a lot of guys that are Hobart football players that wrestle. Babcock, Simpson, those guys, all their big guys really. And then Maryville's like a really big guys football, and then like 152 and down are soccer players. So like Maldonado down all play soccer. Rivera, Malik and all those guys are soccer players. Like Chris Wall was just the DAC like defensive player of the year. So those guys are, going to be obviously. I don't know if they're wrestling. I think this is like a one-off. Like it's like a Friday night, but and both Hobart and Crown Point or Portage and Crown Point are both done in football. So I don't know how much of an impact that'll be. Maybe conditioning-wise, obviously football conditioning is not wrestling conditioning, but it should be good.
Yeah, definitely should be good. Always like to see some, good early season action. Like you said, some kids are going to be at different weights than, not always best to be pulling that a lot of weight early on, and some kids can't even get down there technically for the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this early, I know like Brownsburg doesn't wrestle for a while. They don't wrestle till early December, so they kind of have a lot longer to wait, and then they also don't have to worry about hitting their football team having a good year. So and screwing up, having half teams. I know our kids started a week later, and they're just getting their feet underneath them, and we got a duel, in a little over a week. So it's always, you feel so rushed as a coach to make sure that they learn everything this early.
And I think some of those Carmel kids, I know like the 220, what's his name, Haken
Van Byman.
He's like a really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm sure Eda give us the business. We butcher that, but I know he's like a pretty good football player also. So I'm sure like they're kind of in that same boat. Like, your football weight's not always your wrestling weight, and it takes a little while to get underneath. Just get back around that. So early season stuff is always a little tougher to gauge. There'll probably be some up and down results where these are the ones that are like generally you'll get like, well, he was sick that day. It was like, okay, well, he lost 5. Was he sick all 5 matches? Be some up and down the season, or was he, when they're trying to get in the rankings or something like that.
Yeah.
But early on results, you kind of get that. What's up, Troy Hahn? What's up, man? Troy, I see the comments. We don't have the comments on the side. I'm just looking at my phone.
Yes. I do not have them. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why that I need to run a test on that. Anyway, yes, so I can't see them. I got to figure that out. Maybe a test run this week. But yeah, I want Haken Van Byman to be in the finals. I want to hear his name, being pronounced, because that's an intimidating name. So
yeah, those are the kind of ones you want to see. You want to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, they're going to be. I know Ed always has a good number of football players there, so they're going to be affected. I know he was talking about maybe because they played. They almost could have played Carroll, so we were talking about that a few weeks ago. I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get through a couple teams, but so you never know what's going to happen. Big events. Okay, where's my thing? I just had my link up there. If you look, we do have this cool web page. It's called this Week in Wrestling, and we also pretty nice little thing of duels and everything. Obviously the battle for the paddle, Hobart Munster.
Do they have an actual paddle?
yeah, they have a paddle they wrestle for. I think it's like a rowing paddle, like a canoe paddle.
I thought they were talking like old school, like go to the office and you have to get
the principal's paddle.
It's like, man, I said the South's behind it, man. We need to get ahead of this thing.
Nah, yeah, they need like a region rat trophy or something that goes around to like the winner of I don't know like a super duel in the region. Maybe the Trikoff should get a region rat trophy.
Yeah, but they have a lot of different flavor there. You need something to like I don't know. Maybe the DAC back when Hobart was in,
Or the Lake County tournament. There you go.
Yeah, the Lake County tournament's pretty cool. That's a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams don't go.
Yeah.
A couple teams don't go, man.
So
that's the Jim Watkins baby, man. That thing started in 2002. I like that tournament.
Yeah, that's a good tournament. That's always a good one. To always see, you get such a good wide variety of teams there, which is always nice. It's not the same old teams. I know putting together some schedules, I've seen a lot of teams see each other quite often.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we live in an area. I live in an area. I don't know how close Carroll is to everything. I only go out there one time a year, but and that's like once every 4 years. But like the region is kind of like on top of each other. We're like 15 minutes away from a bunch of different schools. But I don't know, maybe like some of those teams that are wrestling the same team over and over, is that like the closest team, or you not so like, is it so spread out? Because man, I look at a team like I had to go to Terre Haute a couple times. I drove to Evansville this summer, and Attica goes to our semi-state, but that is far, man.
Yeah.
Like Attica is not close.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting to see that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's around here. It's kind of hit or miss, but it's a matter of you got to find the right competition for everybody. For your kids and stuff, and up north it's a little more spread out a little bit, so it's going to be harder. You're going to have to drive an hour and a half for solid competition. And I don't one interesting thing in our area, DeKalb and Eastside, the Eastside goes up to way up north for sectional, and DeKalb or Eastside comes to our place, and then DeKalb goes to way up north, and they pass each other going to sectional.
Yeah, I think Maryville passes like all these teams going to East Chicago sectional, so it's weird.
Yes.
East Chicago's like almost in actual Chicago.
Yes.
So,
and
Maryville has to pass, Griffith, Holbert, all these guys to get there, so kind of weird.
Some other interesting matches. Prairie Heights, Columbia City should be a good one. They're both ranked. Columbia City is, I want to say, 6th-ish, and 2A. We do have rankings here. That should be a good one to start out. And then Prairie Heights is, let's see, yep. Columbia City is 6th, and Prairie Heights is 5 and 1A. So that should be a good duel. Could see a couple state qualifiers hit up at probably 160-ish or 70. You have Isaiah Levitz and the Columbia City kid. Who is it? State qualifier last year. Pettigrew.
2-time state qualifier.
Yeah, Pettigrew. Yeah. Jackson Pettigrew. I know they wrestled last year in that first match. So they might be hitting up again this year. Be a good first match for both those kids to see that kind of competition. Should be a good duel. I know we see Prairie Heights next week, so I'll be keeping a close eye on that match.
I do too, man.
Yeah. You got Wabash and Peru. That should be a good. Peru, I think, is going to be I think they're going to return some guys this year. It might be a little bit better. Oak Hill, Huntington North on Thursday. That should be very interesting because last time.
Fort Wayne March first week, man.
Yeah, that should be a good match. Huntington North has some horses, so should be some good matchups there. You got the
I messed up and left one of the state qualifiers out of the rankings.
Yes, you did. Yes, Cody.
I got that. Hey, like I'm not afraid to say when I mess up. That was a mess up. That was a misstep on my part.
Yes.
I apologize. He'll be in the next update.
Yep, that's why it's not the final rankings.
Man, this is preseason.
Yeah.
Like these are tough. I was happy to get these Chicago ones out this week.
Yes, and there's a couple. Obviously, there's some mistakes everyone's saying on there, but it's the first one and trying to get them out so that you get. The main thing is getting them out. Then people tell you they're wrong, so you get them fixed up. Yeah, especially with weights and everything.
Yeah, the easiest part is like, grades. Like sometimes guys come in the lineup and they haven't been in there, and we just got to guess some grades, and that's tough. But other than that, man, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. Then you got the Rage on the stage. We got the Battle for the Paddle, the Rage for the stage this week. Jeffersonville is going to Franklin. Tante's debut there. That shit, and then Jeffersonville's going to the Triple C, the Capital City Classic on Saturday. So they're doing a double dip. Everyone's getting an extra pound so they can thank Jeffersonville. But that should be an interesting duel. Kind of curious what both teams are going to throw out there. Franklin, obviously Coach Tante got in that car wreck a couple weeks ago, and I don't know exactly how much he's been in the room, but I know they have some pretty good assistants there that'll be probably holding things at Franklin pretty well. So that should be an interesting duel. Be a good measuring stick for the Southern teams.
Yeah, and Coach Tante's a grinder, man. I'm sure he was in there extra quick.
Oh yeah. So, and then the big ones. I'm just going down. Yeah, the John Hurley.
The big ones for us. Like, whatever you're wrestling is always gonna be big for whoever you're competing with. The big ones that we're looking forward to.
Yeah. The John Hurley, you got Hamilton Southeastern, Monrovia, Kokomo, Southport, Warren Central. I believe Perry Meridian's second team might be there. I do have a link to the brackets. Let's see what teams are there. The brackets are not out, but they do. Oh, yeah, Perry Meridian. I believe that's usually their second team. Warren Central, I believe, usually takes their first team.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see where Warren Central's at, man. Like I said, we kind of talked about it last week. They had a lot of guys that were like, I think at the 148 weight for the Indiana mat. So to get those guys spread out a little bit would probably be good for their team.
Yeah, and Hamilton Southeastern has some good guys. You have Spencer Irick, and then why am I blanking on names all of a sudden? Luckily, I have quick links. Simone.
Central.
You got Jacob Simone.
Yeah, Simone.
Oops, we have Jake Simone too. We'll delete his profile. They have some
I
pretty.
see Cooper Norrie did commit to Purdue, huh?
Yes, he did. We prognosticated that. So, yes, he just did today.
Sometimes we do have credibility. That's weird.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Sometimes we do good things like that. The John Hurley is always a pretty good tournament, and usually they allow They usually enter like two guys per weight. Sometimes it's kind of weirdly scored because the winning team will have like 9,000 points or something. It's like a video game. You rack up point like for every takedown you get, the team gets 2 points or something crazy like that. I don't even understand how they do that. Go ahead.
I like that. No, they should do more things that are different.
Yeah. And I like that. They allow you to take a couple kids per weight, so you might see some of those Warren Central kids that might be their wrestle offs. Heck, I mean that's what colleges do. They'll throw those two guys out there, and they'll wrestle off. That's what like Penn State did today at like 149. It was both guys that entered a tournament and they wrestled each other in the finals.
Yeah.
You got the Capital City Classic. That's always a good one at Beech Grove. You have Beech Grove, Franklin Central, the Flashes, Greenwood, Indian Creek, Jeffersonville, Perry. That's their varsity. Plainfield, and then Westfield. So always just pretty solid teams. Perry's probably the head of the class, but there's some pretty good teams there that should have some really good individual matchups. You got the Bow brothers at Plainfield. You got Westfield has some good kids. Jeffersonville's going to bring some headlockers.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffersonville got a ton of kids in their program, right? Like, they're one of the teams that have their track roster up. They have a ton of guys, man.
Yeah, they have like 60, 70 guys. And I think they just got done with football. So they're probably still getting a few more kids out. Danny always has a lot of kids there. But that should be a really good tournament. Always is. Always a good measuring stick early on the season for a lot of those guys. And
and then obviously like we didn't really talk about it last week, and I know a lot of people don't frequent the page in the off season, but it'll be interesting to see Owen Seg go out there. Obviously with Indian Creek, he had like a tragedy this year with his dad, and obviously it's very tough to go and wrestle like that after something like that. So hopefully he's able to compete and kind of go out there in his senior year and make it to state finals. Hopefully he wins it, man. That'd be awesome for him.
Yep,
he's really talented.
Yeah. I'm looking through some of the duels. Any of them that jump out at me? You got the Lawrence Township duels. You got Lawrence North and Lawrence Central. And Connorsville is there. Connorsville, I think, has some pretty solid kids coming back. It looks like pretty much some solid matches for everybody, but always good to see. It's glad we're going to get some matches getting in there in the database and stuff. So any rankings talk? Any big news coming out of the region here?
Not a ton. They did all the wrestle off, so you had a couple go. Obviously, we I forgot. Another guy I forgot, man. So like I don't ever expect to be perfect on these. But we were talking. Chesterton added a state qualifier from Colorado at an upper weight, so I haven't seen him wrestle, but we added him in. I added him into the ranking, so he'll be in the next update. And then you just get like some guys here or there. Like two things happen. Like you get guys that are moving weights that maybe you did have a feel for, but you also get some guys that maybe thought they were going to be able to go a weight, and then it doesn't work out that way. So, I might say, hey, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. But when I start losing, you find out you can only lose 10, and now your weight changes.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I've seen like Cathedral had some different weight changes. So we moved Cathedral around. Avon had some weight changes, so we moved them around.
Yeah, no, it's so. I mean, when you do the preseason rankings, it's a little kind of hit or miss, and it's a lot of guesses. Sometimes we get some really nice emails that some kids are not going certain weights. It's it's preseason rankings. You kind of if you we have a decent grasp on some guys, some programs, but we don't have a lot of times, especially early on, it's going to be a guess of, well, we think this guy probably will just go the same weight he was last year, or he'll go up a weight, or we find out he goes up 3 weights because he got on a really big lifting plan. You never know.
Yeah, there's some guys like look at a guy like Aiden Warren. Like if he didn't wrestle this summer and like he didn't send any kind of communication, then you're like, okay, cool. He's probably going to be a 60-pounder, and now he might be a 95-pounder.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
yes.
Is that I don't know what I'm doing, or because like I didn't know how this guy's eating? They're eating. They're making good food at the Warren house. What do you want them to do?
Yeah, Mama Warren must make some good food.
Yeah,
Maybe we can get an invite over there. I really don't need to gain that much weight, but
Lewis is a good dude. I bet if we go and do a Parameridian duel, they'll invite us over.
yes, and then we'll find out why Aiden and Noah both made some big jumps their senior year. They finally realized that Mama Warren can make some good food.
I know. I think Aiden just made Noah the little brother.
Yes. He might have eaten Noah. Have we seen any? Have we seen any of the? Has Noah even wrestled yet this off season or this season for Marion?
Yeah, have you seen any of the Marion results?
Yeah. So. I don't know if he has been. Looks like Hobart. Man, I messed that up. And Munster is moved to January, which is kind of some of these events are going to be getting moved to January or later or whatever because of those football teams. And I know it says Hobart has a lot of guys playing football.
I seen that Hector said 7 of their 11 defensive starters are wrestlers.
Jeez.
And that's why you win.
Yes,
and that's why you win.
They know how to double leg. I'm sure Coach Cook has taught like a double leg once or twice, and that's always good to see that. It's always, and they're gonna have some good upper weights, and those guys are gonna be able to recruit other guys to come in the room, whether they're practice partners or what. But that should always be good.
I think they returned a bunch of semi-state guys. That was like one of the harder decisions for the team state was that they returned so many good guys to the semi-state. They just didn't get a lot of guys through.
Yeah. They had a lot of guys right in that round to go, and they're gonna be a pretty. I mean, they're not gonna have any holes. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and they're young. Their 60 was right outside the semi-state rankings. 70 was in the state rankings. 82. 95, 220, like 220. That dude, Bobby Babcock had an awesome regional championship game. They had a big article about him. That dude's a freak, man.
Yeah, he looks like he's pretty big. So yeah, no, they're gonna be. I mean, I don't even know who they have. I'd have to look and see what kind of chance they have making it to state. But yeah, you're one week away from making it to the state finals, and then that's gonna put you really behind the 8 ball as a coach, coming up here for the for your season. So they have East Noble, local team over here, the Knights. That should be a good game. East Noble's been obviously doing pretty well. They're undefeated in a pretty tough conference, so that should be a good game.
I'm sure Hobart's excited, man. That used to be Hobart Bricky football, man, that was like the big thing. So I think this is the first one they've gone this deep since like '97. I'm sure the
Yeah,
community does a good job. They do an awesome job with their athletics.
yeah. I saw a question from Mr. Eric Spikes asking about a limit on matches, and that was actually done last year. And it's not really a limit. You have to have 6 individual duels, and then basically you have 6 tournaments that you can enter, which is uh, more than three teams, or actually more than 2 teams, which would be a super duel or tournament. It's not really technically a limit because we figured it out the other day. You can get about 80 matches if you really wanted to push the limit, but it kind of does limit you a little bit more than it used to. Obviously, that 80 is an extreme example of wrestling 6 2-day 10-match tournaments, but it is possible, I guess, if you can find enough of those. But there's kind of not. There was just a little bit of a change, so you should see a lot more duels, and you should have last year because a lot of teams change their schedules. So teams are gonna, you're trading 2 duels for a super duel pretty much. So kids are gonna get about 3 to 4 less matches this year. And they're not going to get quite as many as the 65 that Alex Sertzis had the one year.
There's a lot.
And about
Randall Hayes said Mount Vernon also has several wrestlers started on their football team. Sounds like if you want to win in football, get wrestlers.
It's
pretty easy.
Yeah. I've seen some things on Facebook
for the University of Iowa.
Yeah.
They say all 5 offensive linemen for the University of Iowa are all wrestlers.
Yeah.
So
it's a crazy idea there, but it should be very interesting. I did see some other comments, but I lost them.
I see the Bandit's in here.
Yes, he is. He's always here. I don't know. Any other interesting questions? I know I missed a couple there. I have to pull up on my phone. This darn thing's not working.
Yeah. Just a couple. Everyone's saying like Peru Wabash has been postponed. I'm interested to see if Sturgill's back and what weight he's at. That was like a tough one because he missed last year, and he's obviously really tough,
Yeah, no, he should be. That's going to be an interesting one, seeing where he's at. Yeah, just trying to figure out this darn thing. Anyway, yes. The other fun thing we'll discuss tonight, it might be a little bit shorter of a show. Mike wants to get to the game. Our all-decade team. This week we have 112, 113. A lot of pretty good guys. Stefan Micic won his 2nd straight weight class, so he's going to fill half of our weights already.
One, he's really good. He's a guy that's, competing right now, so you're seeing him right now. But again, like I think that we're forgetting like how we're like looking very tunnel vision for like currently.
Yeah.
Like we're not looking like the broader picture.
Yeah. No, and you got Jared Brooks, who was ranked number 1 in the country when he was a senior.
Yeah. Beat Nathan Tomasello.
Yeah. Yes. Won a Super 32 belt. Micic isn't a bad choice. That was the year he was a cadet world teamer. I think he might have got like 5th or something. So it's not a bad pick there, but definitely you have him. I know I had to give Kyle Ersman. He was promoting himself. Baby Ersman, sophomore Ersman made it to the finals. That was very interesting. He beat Moran from last year, which was kind of interesting. I thought Moran. Obviously, I look more at national rankings to kind of get it, to compare these guys. Moran was in the rankings there for a while. So, I'd either go Brooks or Micic. That'd be a heck of a fun match to watch. Those two wrestle each other at that time. Senior Brooks versus junior Micic. Both were pretty high level guys at that time. So, some really good guys. You got Ersman, Baby Ersman. You got Viduya as a freshman. DJ Smith. He got put in the same pool as Garrett Pepple, who he beat the year before, and Pepple still beat him. So Pepple likes the social media, so I'm sure he got some votes there. So check out the polls on Twitter. Vote for your favorite. Don't vote for Kyle Ersman.
Nah, man, Kyle Irvin's a soccer fan. You got to give him some votes.
Yeah, next week's gonna be a good one. We got 119/120. We'll give you a little bit of a hint here. You got Red, Hudkins, Drew Hildebrand, Erzman, Paul Petrov, Caden Rooks, Brandon Nelson, DeAndre Wilson, Hunter Watson, Braden Lytle.
It's pretty good. Man, some of those guys are putting some work in. Drew Hildebrand putting some work in. Brock Hudkins doing really well at IU.
Yeah, yes. they actually just
those guys are having good careers right now.
Yeah, and you got Red with two you got an two-time All-American with Red. Hudkins and Hildebrand both been a couple-time qualifiers. Petrov was a couple-time qualifier. I believe Nelson was at least did he qualify for?
I think he went 1 year, yeah. And now he's coaching, right?
Yeah, now he's at Duke, yeah. So, that should be. DeAndre Wilson was tough. He was real tough.
Oh yeah, that was the year he beat Drew Hughes, right?
Yeah. Drew Hughes' his freshman year, so yeah, that's gonna be an interesting. I'm excited. I did seed it, and it was more based on how they did throughout their career. So I give and that way you kind of separate them a little bit better. But like you get 10 points if you're a state champion. Obviously, all of them have been a state champion, so that's the minimum you could have. Like Lytle, literally, I'll have 7 or 10 points, but and then 9, 8, 7 all the way through, and then I kind of seeded it, so it's gonna be a little bit, should be maybe semi-fair. I don't know, but that way it's separated and
man. Not to sway the vote, but man, that Paul Petrov state championship match that year was one of my favorite matches ever at Bankers Life.
Yes,
that was a good match.
Yeah, Petrov was always entertaining to watch. I loved watching him wrestle. He put points on the board, wasn't afraid to get after it, win or lose. I remember seeing him at Fargo a few times, and he just let it fly, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
definitely.
He had some awesome matches with Brooks at semi-state. But man, that year he won state, he beat Campbell in the finals. That was just an awesome match. Like I'm sure that's on YouTube somewhere. Yeah. If you want to check that out, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and he was down pretty big early too, and he came back and no, that was a good one. Nelson was just a grinder, 4-time placer. Finally busted through. Wilson, wrestling only for a few years, wins a state title, which is just crazy in a pretty loaded weight with a guy like Drew Hughes in there.
That way it was unbelievable. Yeah, like Adam Garcia in there too, who was semifinalist the year before. So you had some really good guys. Danny Beltrán, that's for down the road. Red Lee, we're gonna see that in a couple weeks, man. We'll talk about that one then.
Yes. Yeah, we got lots of weeks for this thing, and that's why we're gonna do it one a week, and get keep people happy about it. The Red Lee's gonna be up in a couple weeks, so
yeah.
These ones are gonna be kind of fun. Starting in the next couple weeks when you getting a lot of really good guys. And you got Lytle, who wrestles in one state tournament. Fargo and Super 32 plays both those tournaments. How are you going to vote for him? He's a current guy that I know he can wrestle with any of those guys in that list. And he's not afraid to bang with those guys. Yeah. So
yeah, he's unbelievable, man. He's really good.
Yeah, so should be some fun stuff there. Anything else to talk about? Any questions from our friends?
Nothing. Not a lot of questions. Just like a bunch of comments and stuff. But I mean, I think early on, like it's just slow rolling. Like guys are trying to get into weights, and obviously, sometimes you hear the people that are upset with where they're at or whatever. Man, it's like preseason rankings. Like as soon as these guys start going, that'll work itself out.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be.
I'm hoping that no one feels like they need the motivation of the preseason rankings to get to that level. But whatever you got to use, man.
Yeah, yes. Preseason rankings are just a gauge, and it's more we put them out there so Mike gets lots of calls and texts and messages about where guys are going to be.
Yeah, I think it's good. Sometimes I'll look at it and just put it in how I feel like it fits, and sometimes it doesn't even work like that. So
yeah, and sometimes
I guess one thing we should talk about former Indiana Gorilla member Chris Rump taking out the former number one Gavin Teasdale, right?
Oh yes, yes. That was a huge. That takedown. That was like at the end he was up, but then he got a late takedown. That was slick.
Yeah.
Rump. Rump's tough, and he's at 33. He has to be huge at 33.
He AA'd last year at 49, right?
Yeah. No, he can't. He didn't. I don't know if. I don't think he Did he qualify? I can't remember.
I thought that he. I don't know, because I'm not as tech savvy. Wheeler Wrestling. Why is Joe's background better?
Because I have a green screen, so you can't see my messy basement. And that's why. I'll tell you the truth.
But my hair's better.
I don't think he AA'd last year, but he wrestled 49. Now he's at 33, which is just crazy.
He AA'd at 49. And now he's at 33, where he's huge.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
That's a guy that has, like, legitimate Division I, like, talent.
Yeah. And
I thought, like, even when he went to the Dream Team, he went out there and, like, banged, man. He was at it.
Yeah. He did not AA. He lost in the blood round. But it was at 149. And now he's down 2 weights. But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just beat the former number one wrestler in the country. When we went to Who's Number One, Gavin Teasdale beat Ramon Bravo Young.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was like that's a legit.
Another Gorilla, Scotty Sopko, been doing some work for Indiana Tech. Always good to see him. I love that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are doing awesome, man. Indiana Tech's doing a good job.
Yeah, Indiana Tech. You know, we get the Black Knight Open, Black Knight Invitational at Army. You had four champs from 4 different semi-states, 4 different high schools, 4 different colleges. You got Hildebrand won. So did Cale McCormick and Paris and who I think and Harvey. No, not Harvey. Harvey didn't win.
Harvey. I seen Harvey and
who just won? Oh man.
And Brad.
Who was it? It was Nick Lee. How did I forget about Nick Lee? Nick Lee won. Nick Lee. Hildebrand, McCormick, Mason Paris. Paris looked real good. I watched his match. I watched McCormick's also, and Paris against Matt Stencil, who I think they have to wrestle about every week. It seems that the guy that beat him in the blood round last year, he's beaten him twice already this year. Looked really just was patient, found an opening, ended up winning 3 or 4-0. I can't remember if he got the I think he did get a riding time point, but he looked real good, pretty solid. You know, just hey, I'm gonna pick my spot. I don't need to go big, and wrestled real well there. So he's looking real tough. I'm excited to see him against some of the even higher ranked guys.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I seen Bobby Stevenson got in, wrestled heavyweight, lost 1-0.
Yes.
So Bobby trying to take his brother's spot while his brother's taking a little hiatus.
Yep, and I believe Brayton Lee won this. He won Friday night, and then I believe he.
That's what I was asking before. Did he injury default in the Dartronics? Because I think he was like 6.
Oh, I do not know. I did not. I just kind of assumed he did well. Hopefully he didn't get hurt. 49, Brayton Lee. It's a medical forfeit. That's interesting. He medical forfeited out, so I don't know if he got hurt. Hopefully he did not get hurt. Hopefully it's a precautionary. I mean, you never know what's going on at this time of year. Sometimes they don't want him to get too many matches in, so that should be interesting.
He was back, right? Like for the trials, he had like a messed up back or something.
Yeah, he did. So hopefully it's something minor and he'll be back. I didn't even see that. I just assumed he won because it's usually fairly. There's some good competition there, but usually they run through that tournament. Casper got 5th, so that's a good showing. Purdue beat North Dakota State today. Some good wins there. So it's always nice to see some college wrestling going on. Now we're gonna have some high school stuff sprinkled in today. So hey, we're live on YouTube and stuff. Cool. So should be some good stuff.
The deepest weight. Do we answer that?
No.
Dinger's over here asking what we think the deepest weight is. Probably Dinger's weight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's difficult. It depends how you like overall depth. I think there's a lot of really good wrestlers at like 82. It's pretty spread out. But then you look at like top depth. Like, I mean, 95 is going to be awesome with Cale Gray, Evan Bates, Silas Allred. All those are really good guys. Jacob LaPlace in there. Farrell's good. 60's really, really good. Like the 4 from 52 last year all returned. But on Chesterton's track, they have Ellis at 45, which is crazy.
Yeah.
If he goes down, that changes some things,
Yeah. I'd say 60 because you have the 3 guys up top. Actually, 4 you can consider Levitz, and then you're throwing in some young guns like Welch, Carroll. You got Purdy. Yeah. And then, you're looking even deeper, Drake Buchanan's who's pretty tough. He's wrestled internationally for Team USA, some pretty good guys just sprinkled all throughout there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of spread out, throughout the semi-states too. So it's not just all, East Chicago guys. You got some out of the South, you got some out of Newcastle. So hopefully you don't have totally ugly matches on Saturday morning, where you could be a state championship match, Saturday morning.
I think like 120 is always like that, like perfect storm weight where you get the guys jumping from 6, and you have like a lot of guys end up staying at 120 that were 120 before and 13s. So 120 is always like a real tough weight.
Yeah.
Like, you always have guys that are like state qualifiers are right on that state qualifier. Returning at that weight where like your 1 through 16 is going to be like state experience guys.
Yeah. No, for some odd reason it seems like 6-pounders always jump to 120. I don't know if that, and then you usually get that, and you actually get a good combination of 13-pounders that jump up one weight class, and then any 20-pounders that decide to stay there. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty deep weight. Pretty much 2 guys that are not state qualifiers
26.
in the rankings there, and I think there might be a couple on the outside looking in too. And the rankings are online. We did put the preseason ones up.
26. Did we?
Yeah,
cool.
I put them
so
up.
26, you're going to have 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 medalists at 26. That might be the deepest weight.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty tough weight. And you got, the guys that are not ranked or that haven't been to state are pretty darn good. That's a pretty good weight also. So.
Yeah, so, and obviously there's 2 parts to that. Like, one, that's another weight where you're getting like 120s, 113s are kind of converging to that spot. But also you got the number 1 or number 2 guy in the country, the weight right ahead of you. So 38 and 32 or 26 are going to be really kind of weights where guys are going to kind of gravitate to, because 32 is such a good, the top guy, if you're looking for a title, you're not going to want to, maybe. I mean, Jesse obviously did it last year. He chased 2 guys that had titles, and he did it. So maybe there's a freshman out there looking to chase him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta. I mean, you do it all the time. I mean, you going after them. Why not? If you already have I know a lot of those guys. Actually, a pretty good number of guys are already signed. So, winning a state title is good, but it's not gonna change your scholarship. Dollars if they if they beat Jesse Mendez or someone like that. It might help them, but if they lose to them, then no one's going to be like, oh man, you should have, you're going to lose some scholarship money. No, you're not.
No, you're going to probably get more stock, but I mean, you're also talking about like mean, everyone's looking for the Loudon Swain, man. Loudon cut the Russell Shoot. Like, who's that guy? You know?
Yeah, yes. Great movie. You gotta watch that this week. Start of the season. So, anything else to talk about? It's kind of a short show. It looks like we've been going for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, not as long.
Yeah, but
because you run into a couple things. The Bears game, which
are they gonna win? So,
what do I gotta take a stand on? What is Wheeler Wrestling? I'll be a great politician. You got my vote, and then they said take a stand. What do we gotta talk about?
I don't know. What? Oh.
What?
They're talking about Cosgrove going hunting, I guess. Oh, good. So.
Good, man.
So.
I almost hit a buck the other day. I was just thinking, man, where's Cosgrove at to shoot this thing?
You need Cosgrove just to ride around the back of your truck so you don't have to hit any deer.
Yeah, I thought about, it was like one of those things. It was like, my daughter, like, we seen it. I had to, like, take these back roads to, like, Illinois, like, to get to 394. Too many deer out here, man. We need more hunters.
Yes, we do. So, I guess with that, I think we'll probably just wrap it up for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, or next week, not tomorrow, on next Sunday, talking some wrestling. We'll have some wrestling action actually to talk about, and then talk about the week that's coming up. I know there's going to be some more matches. Thanksgiving week is always a good week of wrestling. Got a lot of tournaments going on, so you got the War of the Wabash. Got a lot of good things coming up that week, so stay tuned, and we'll be talking more about wrestling as we get going. It's here, so stay tuned to the Battle for the Paddle tomorrow night. If you're on the Madison area, greater Madison area, go watch. I believe it's at Madison. Are we correct there?
Yeah. I'm gonna need a picture of this paddle on Twitter.
Oh, I'm sure we can text Dustin. He'll tell you what it looks like. It's like yeah. I'll have to find it. I know I've seen pictures of it. It is at
whoever wins out Southwestern in Madison.
Yes. That
needs to tweet out this picture with the paddle, man.
6 o'clock. It's at Southwestern.
I got the Jake County Patriot.
Yes, the Jake County. Yes, we do have pictures of that thing. That thing is scary. You might come alive. If you're near Hanover, Indiana, which is south, not the Hanover Central, like Cedar Lake, Hanover. So check out the duel. You have something to do. You have a match to go see. It's 6 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll promote that. Hopefully, T-Skin will appreciate that. Hopefully, they get a lot of fans. I couldn't tell you where exactly Hanover is, but I could click a link on their profile and find that it's way down south. So with that, we will get going.
So it's basically Kentucky.
Yes, very close to Kentucky. So with that, I gotta fix that link, don't I? So with that, we will let you guys go, and we will be back next week. So put some questions out for us to talk about, since we'll be starting to probably get some new updates on the rankings. Not sure how often we'll update them these next couple weeks. Probably after next week's action will be a good point, but might be starting to get some new weights coming in and some lineup shifts, so we'll be adding those to that. And we'll have the Capital City Classic, so you'll be able to add some matches there. So make sure you guys get your schedules in. Make sure you guys stay tuned, and we'll be having lots of fun information. So we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, go out and vote for the 113s.
Yes. Oops.